Okay, welcome to another short video with Explore with Michael. And today I've brought you to Sale. Sale is actually the twin city, if you like, of Rabat. Sale lies on the northern side of the Wadi Bou Reg, and Rabat lies to the southern side of the Wadi Bou Reg. And in fact, you can actually see Rabat from here. There is the Tower of Hassan, which I spoke about in a previous video, and this is actually in Rabat itself. Sale is actually, the relationship between Sale and Rabat, at times Sale has been more powerful, and other times Rabat has been more powerful. And at the moment, Rabat is the capital of Morocco, and it's really quite a prestigious place to live. Sale, on the other hand, is a bit poorer. The housing is cheaper over here, so very often people will live over here and commute into Sale for work. And all of the tourists will go to Rabat, which means that they miss out on Sale, which is actually a very interesting city, and it's got some gems, some real gems in it. The other peculiar thing is, despite the fact that it's the poorer side of the city, it actually hosts, and if you swing around there, see where the red flag is there? Just below there is a very lovely marina with expensive yachts and so on, and very expensive apartments next to it. So it's really on the up and up. Rabat is an ancient city. It's been inhabited by the Phoenicians, the Carthaginians, the Romans, and in fact the Berbers maintain that the word Sale, and excuse me if I've not got pronunciation quite right, comes from the prophet Saleh in the Holy Quran. I think this is a little bit of wishful thinking because, of course, Saleh's stomping ground, peace and blessings be upon him, was actually over in Petra, in Jordan. But this is what the people, the Berber people of this region, maintained. It was established as a city by the Berbers in around the 1000s. This is when it was built up and so on. But actually, it's had a big disaster in the year 1260. Alfonso X of Castile, with about 40 ships, came here and invaded the city. Men were put to the sword, and the surviving 3,000 men, women and children were taken to Seville into slavery, essentially. And it's the biggest slaughter that the city experienced in its lifetime. Abu Yusuf al-Yaqub rode from the center of Morocco over here to rescue the city, and he saw the people of Castile away, and he vowed to rebuild the city, and he actually built the wall that runs along the Bou Reg for its defense, and also this magnificent doorway, which is the trademark of the city. It's really beautifully ornate and so on. And also, he built a fortified canal from the Wadi Bou Reg all the way up here, and shipping could actually go in through here. Now, you might wonder how that could possibly be so, but in fact, the bottom of the gate was a lot lower. With the passage of time and the silting up, it's actually raised up. But the shipping in those times, they were a lot smaller, but they could lower their masts and they would go in here, the gates would be closed, they could offload their cargoes, and they would exit by another gate. In my mind, Sale is famous for the Sale Rovers. In the 1600s, the Muslims and the Jews of Spain were expelled, and a lot of them, they came to Tetuan, Fez, Rabat, various cities throughout Morocco. And the citizens here from Spain, they gathered their resources and bought a fleet of ships, and they went out and they made war against Spain and by extension Europe. I'm from Ireland, and I remember years ago I was on holiday in a town called Baltimore, and in Ireland all of the pubs are named after the proprietor. Rourke's, McGurk's, Ryan's. Give me an Irish name and there'll be a pub named after it. But in Baltimore there's one pub called the Algiers Inn, and I had no idea why this was. But I subsequently found out that in the 1600s a ship from North Africa made its way up to Baltimore, raided the city and took captives and took them back to North Africa. And the captain of that fleet of ships was actually established here. The Moriscos, the refugees from Spain, they paid Europeans to pilot, to captain their ships, and Murad Rais was the name of the captain who led that ship into Baltimore. His real name was Jan Jansen van Halen. He was actually a Dutch renegade. He converted to Islam, and he led that shipping at that point. Another highlight of the history here was in the 1800s. France, well actually Morocco was going through a famine at the time. There was very little food. And there was an Algerian stroke French ship with grain and so forth on it. And the people of Sale, they seized that ship and they took the food from it. And the French, they bombarded the city. So the city has gone through some pretty rough times. Now, as I said before, it is the poorer relation of Rabat, but the Grand Mosque here, the madrasa and so forth, the Moroccan government are restoring these buildings to their former glory. I noticed this happening during the COVID crisis when I tried to visit some places here in Morocco, but everything was kind of closed down, and they used this time to restore these buildings, and they're still working on these now. So it's something we can look forward to in the future. Anyway, I'm going to take you to some other sites here in Sale, so please look out for my future videos. Okay, thank you very much.